One of the things the central bank is stating they're going to do is end that old electronic transfer system that exclusively works with the dollar and transition to a different type of banking system where the local Iraqi banks can start doing their own sending of foreign currencies and no longer just the dollar, multiple different foreign currencies abroad. It's called direct banking, but to do that the US sanctions need to be lifted off of Iraq. That's why this whole time they've only been able to exclusively work with the US dollar. There's a difference between the dollar auctions and the reinforcement mechanism that they use today. Militiaman and crew have been quite clear that there's going to be a change, the dollar auctions are going to stop and there's something different. We have been spot on about the fact that the dollar auctions are going to go away, and they have. Television is doing 11-page document, we've seen it before but they're re-showing it to us. It's instructions to all the new money exchange centers that have been opened up on what they can accept and how much to give on damaged notes being returned by citizens. It's like they are telling exchanges a lot of the 3-0 notes are about to be returned. Frank, that's exactly what they're doing. Like I told you, these banks would be very essential, collecting the 3-0 notes is going to be massive. Question: where will the new rate show first? Marks: if it follows in Kuwait's footsteps, it will quietly be released. Maybe people will do some exchanging and then it will show publicly on Forex. But, in today's world and the speed of the internet, my guess is we will all see it at the same time. You guys will probably hear it first from folks like me and then we will be able to look at it. That's my opinion. Iraq has brought a new in-country rate. We heard about this New Year's Day. In Iraq, they're removing the higher denominations, the 25k dinar notes, the 10k, the 5k, the 1k, the high 30 dinar notes. Now those are notes that we have that we're going to be able to exchange at a very high rate, very high. We're getting huge rates on the dinar that we have, but in Iraq they're exchanging those with 25 dinar, 10 dinar, 5 dinar, 1 dinar, in other words, without the 3 zeros, lower denominations. They're making those announcements on television in Iraq. We look like we could get started. They're calling it the weekend. As late as Sunday, we should be getting our notifications, and we should be able to get started with our exchanges. Question: how many major banks are there participating in the exchange? I don't know that yet. But I believe that every major bank will be involved. After the electronic platform stopped answering questions from Iraqi circles about the new dollar mechanism, quote, Deputy the Governor of the Central Bank, Ammar Khalaf, said yesterday that the mechanism of work on the electronic platform related to foreign transfers has stopped working, but financing foreign trade continues through correspondent banks according to different mechanisms that are parallel to what is in effect in countries around the world. They're implementing their banking reforms. You have no idea how close you are to this rate change? This is Iraq implementing their banking reform right in front of us. The electronic platform for selling dollars has been suspended. That means the currency auctions have ended. That's a critical piece to this. That's the banking reform getting implemented. That's Iraq preparing to revalue their currency. That makes this month of January extremely critical regarding our investment and the revaluation of Iraq's currency. We were supposed to get notified day after New Year's. Well, we had a couple things that happened behind scenes, and now everything is moving forward at the regular pace. Iraq doesn't have coins today. They haven't had them for 20-something years. Now all of a sudden they have a commemorative, tourist, coin, and they talk about currency, a special stamp. It's a special occasion. Television again says Iraq has ended the dollar auctions, but we knew this yesterday, but I guess it's important. Frank, every day until the 7th EMO is going to be very exciting with a lot of information. Vietnam is set for some big-time growth. It's all thanks to a cool strategy shift. They're moving away from relying only on selling stuff to other countries and focusing more on what's happening within their own borders. Vietnam's future is looking bright. People ask me, Fanu, is the currency window in Iraq closed or not? Some people are claiming it is not closed. I answered, yes, the Central Bank of Iraq has ceased the dollar auctions. According to Ammar Khalaf, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, the dollar auction system, officially known as the Foreign Currency Sale Window, and electronic platform, will be permanently shut down by the end of 2024. Khalaf confirmed that the decision is final and that the vast majority of traders have already adapted to the new system, which no longer provides direct dollar access from the central bank. So wonder no more. The Oil and Gas Committee in the Iraqi Parliament considered, on Saturday, that the agreement on the draft oil and gas law and sending it from the government to the Parliament will contribute to resolving many of the pending issues between Baghdad and Erbil. Committee member Bassam al-Gharabawi told Shafaq news agency, agreeing on the draft oil and gas law and approving it in the Council of Ministers and then sending it to Parliament will contribute to resolving many of the outstanding problems between the federal and regional governments. According to al-Gharabawi, the government had previously formed a committee headed by the Deputy Prime Minister for Energy Affairs, the Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs, and the Iraqi Somo Company to negotiate with the regional government regarding amending the disputed articles and preparing a final version of the oil and gas law. He added, the Parliamentary Oil Committee hosted a number of officials from the Ministry of Oil during the previous legislative session, and discussed the formulas and articles that require amendment to the oil and gas law. Last week, Iraqi economic expert, Nabil al-Masoumi, revealed that 9 foreign companies were demanding compensation amounting to $24 billion resulting from the halt in oil exports after the Iraqi judiciary rejected the appeal of the Iraqi Ministry of Oil to cancel these companies' contracts with the Kurdistan region. The Kark Court of Appeal rejected an appeal submitted by the Iraqi Ministry of Oil and overturned previous rulings that declared the contracts of foreign companies with the Kurdistan region invalid. According to the court, contracts are considered valid, enforceable, and binding on both parties, and no party outside the contract has the right to object to them, even if they are based on a legal basis that the Federal Supreme Court in Iraq deemed unconstitutional in February 2022. The court explained in the reasons on which it relied that the decision of the Federal Supreme Court issued in February 2022 cannot be applied to contracts concluded before its issuance, in accordance with a general principle in Iraqi civil law.